Okay, I want you to pay close attention to what is being said here. Tests give us case data, and case data is what we use to determine our risk, and risk is what we use to determine whether or not we take an experimental and potentially dangerous therapy. Listen closely.
Why should we have any confidence in these contracts if, in fact, we're dealing with companies that don't manufacture anything? And can you assure me that the tests that are coming in are not coming from China?
Thank you, Ranking Member Burr. Absolutely. These tests, what we initially did to be able to access tests for the initial shipments that will go towards the end of January, we worked with warehouses to see where additional tests were stored and assessed that additional capacity and are bringing that capacity to bear for these initial tests that are going out, which is why you're seeing contracts with warehouses and not with test manufacturers.
So is what you're telling me they've got 50 million tests in warehouses in the United States and all we did was access that inventory?
That is my understanding.
Well, will you confirm your understanding? This is a very, very important piece when you've got companies that don't manufacture tests, and all of a sudden we're giving them a $190 million contract for about 14 million home tests, and their expertise is importation of vodka. I encourage you to look through the list of people that we're signing up with. Are you aware that some of the larger test manufacturers in 2021 shut down lines because of the lack of purchases for at-home tests?
One of the things we did in the fall with the $3 billion investment that we made was to turn lines on and to commit to those lines for 13 months so they wouldn't be turned off again.
Dr. Woodcock, let me just, last question, Chair. Of the 15 tests that you've currently approved for over-the-counter, how many detect Omicron?
We're still working on that, but we believe all of them detect Omicron. We simply feel they are somewhat less sensitive than they were to some of the previous variants.
Of the 50 million tests that the ASPR has contracted for, how many of those tests detect Omicron?
I don't know which tests there are. We can get back to you on that.
So you haven't consulted with what we're purchasing on the 500 million. They haven't consulted with FDA to figure out whether the tests they're buying actually detect Omicron.
I believe they have. I simply don't have that list.
Okay. I thank the Chair.